or might not, right? Go ahead, go next time you go to Sherwin-Williams, ask them, what kind of paint are the builders buying at this moment? Because the builders will not paint, the new construction builders, they will not paint their houses 5, 6 different paintings, colors. They paint one color only. So go ahead and ask them. Now I can tell you, the latest one, it's agreeable grade. Agreeable grade. You know, so that's the one that I use. Right? Don't copy. Before agreeable grade used to be, hold on, used to be, no, it used to be a yellowish color. I'm sorry? Killing beige. Killing beige. Used to be killing beige. Now they changed. Now remember, builders like Centex Homes or Ryder Homes, they spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with design. So why not copy them? Right? So I copied them. Alright, so yes, do not remove the trim around the windows. Please don't do it. What else? Houses that you're gonna sell under $200,000. You guys haven't seen those yellowish or blue tub with the surround, you know? So how many of y'all would love to remove those things? Come on, you can be sincere.
You're talking about the tiles?
Yes, the tiles. Would you remove?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would paint. I would paint that. You know, because it's cheaper. Now, you can say, oh, I would never buy a house with this kind of tile. Yeah, but you're not buying the house, you sell it, right? So I would just paint. It's many companies that can do it, reglazing, and they charge really good prices. And just find out a good company and use them, all right? This is something that people always forget to demo. On my demolition, I always inside of the property. Because if you tell the boys what to do, when you go about your business, when you come back, you're gonna see surprises. So my demos are always inside of the house. Alright, because it's some stuff that they don't remove. For example, on my demo day, I'm going wall by wall and remove every single screw or every single nail. Because guess what? And unfortunately, it's harder for you to understand. But the drywall guy do drywall. They don't remove nails. The painting guy, they do painting. They will paint on your nail, but they will not remove your nail. Right? Seriously, listen guys, I do this every day. Listen, I'm serious. You need to take your time and do some work. This is not like a get rich quick. I just send somebody to do the job and that's it. Alright? Painters paint walls and trims and doors. They don't remove nails. Right? And if you leave a nice expensive door on the floor when the painters going to paint, guess what? They will step on that door and I break that door and I tell, I don't know that. Guess how I know that? Right? So you need to be inside of the house. All the blinds needs to come out. And all the little, what's it called? Racks, hangers, whatever, that needs to come off. Again, painters paint the trim. They don't remove those stuff. Right? Oh, another thing too. As soon as you get in the house, you better find out if the breaker box cover is in place or on the floor. If it's on the floor, you better hide that baby. Because if not, you're gonna put a brand new electrical box. You cannot find the covers for those things. It's almost impossible. So that's a big one right there, guys. You can spend easily $1,000 to change a breaker box. So as soon as you get in that property, go on a breaker box and see where is the cover. Where is the cover? If the cover is on the floor, hide on the attic, do whatever, but do not leave it in the house. Because somebody gonna throw that thing on the trash. Believe me. Yes, ma'am.
You mean literally protect it? Will like literally protect the cover, like
The cover, yeah, the cover of the breaker box. No, not security. If it is in place, if it is screwed, it's fine.
Okay, that's all.
But now, I always remove because the paint will paint around.
And it's shut.
Yes.
I got
So
it.
I always remove it and I put on the attic. Alright? So something that I always remove also is the cover for the refrigerator connection. The white cover, plastic covers for the refrigerator connection. I always remove that and I put on the attic too. And the covers for the dryer or for the washer. The white cover for the washer, I always remove those two. Listen, everything that I tell you, that's what happened, guys. Listen, you're gonna cry later if you don't do it. Alright, so that's my part of demolition. So as you're going from now forward, question?
What are you talking about with the refrigerator?
Yeah, on the refrigerator, behind the refrigerator. When you connect to the water, it's a cover.
Water connection. Got
Yeah,
it. Okay.
remove that box. And also on the washer, on the washing machine is the same cover.
Yeah.
Remove that cover. All right.
That removed and what?
Remove it and put it in the attic because if that thing got missing, you need to change the whole box, and that costs a lot of money. Yep. Yeah. All right. Oh, now you guys get them. Yeah, flipping promise, not just There you go. Hallelujah. All right. Anybody have a question? Everybody okay so far?
Yes.
All right. Rough work. Rough work is the main big thing. Now, before you go there, don't call Uncle Bob to do it. He don't know how to do it. All right? That's very neat and very dangerous. Not everybody can do it. Flooring or beams or walls or anything like that. I have seen all kind of work, guys. Finding somebody that really like when they know what they're doing. All right? So I always recommend everybody to find a contractor, a residential contractor, a licensed contractor, because they have to pull a permit for you. Do not work in a house without a permit. Now, should not say that. I will not say that yet. But whatever, I saw it. If you do it yourself and the inspector pass by, they will red tag your house. Right?
Is there certain things that you can do yourself?
You can do yourself. The law says that you can work on your house or anything any job that will cost $5,000 or less without no permission, the permit. But on the rehab, $5,000 go on demolition if you don't be careful, you know? So find somebody that knows what they're doing and somebody that can pull a permit. And unfortunately, I'm a contractor and I have to say that not every single contractor know what they're doing, unfortunately. You know, I mean, I have seen all kind of stuff. On my way down here, I saw a picture of somebody put a roof with the hangers turning again. Anyway, I mean, so I mean, just please find somebody that knows what they're doing, okay? So rough work. Rough work is when you're going to deal with flooring, or walls, or beams, or porch, or foundation. All those items over there, you work at once. All right? Please listen. If you're going to do one thing by then the next, you're going to take too long. On my properties, my goal is only 60 days. From the time that I started, from the key, 60 days. That's my goal. That's why I have that right there. So you can do all the demo at same day or 2 days, right? The rough work, you can do it, the same guy can do it at the same time. Now, I have foundations right there. Let me explain that. Foundation. You can have a house with cross-space foundation or a slab foundation. Do you understand what I mean?
No.
Okay. Slab foundation is a concrete foundation. This one is slab. Cross space foundation is the one elevated 3 feet, 4 feet or lower. Now the ones that is higher we call extended foundation, right? So please don't, if you started, don't buy those extended foundation houses. It costs a lot of money, and start to go over here. Not only the beach, you can find a lot on the areas that was flooded, Park Circle area. Not always on the beach. Now, some people build those houses not because they want to build that kind of foundation. It's the city and the FEMA that make them build like that. All right. So if it is a slab foundation or a concrete foundation, it's easy to deal with. There ain't much to be done unless you have a water problem under the foundation. That is a big problem. Or if you know what you're doing, it's not a big problem. Remember the house that I told you that I bought for $80,000 instead of $140,000? The bank thought that they have a big leak under the foundation. And I'm glad they thought that, because they sold me the house cheaper because they thought there was a big problem. And I went over there, make a little hole around the pipe, put a sharp pipe right there, connect, and I'm done with my problem. So I make $40,000 just by knowing what I was doing. All right, so here we go.
Well,
Yes, sir.
On the slab too, if they got asbestos on the floor, you
Yeah.
have a problem.
And so back on the foundation, on the slab foundation, you need to find out if you have asbestos on the floor. You see this floor right here? This is called VCT tile. But a long time ago, the VCT used to be asbestos. So if you see a floor on an old house, 1 feet by 1 feet, the probability to be asbestos is 90%. Now,
It would be 1978, right?
Now that's for lead. That's different. That's lead-based paint. That's houses before 1978. The probability to have a lead paint on those houses is higher than the new houses. But not every house built before 1978 has lead. In Charleston, in downtown area, some of the majority of the houses have lead. But on the other side, not really. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
The asbestos flooring, would you find that out in the inspection process, or is that?
You can find on the inspection process. You can find it on the inspection process by sending an inspector, or if you go yourself as you walk on the property. If you see a tile on the floor that is 1 feet 12 inches by 12 inch, that is asbestos. All right.
But isn't this like 1 foot?
No, this is not asbestos. I think this is 13 inches.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, hold on. Asbestos is 10 inches by 10 inches. This is 12 inches. I'm sorry.
There are certain years that all of houses that.
Yeah, majority are old houses.
Leave it there and put some on top.
I'm sorry?
Leave it there and put some on top of it.
You can. Now, I would not buy a house with asbestos tile. Me personally. Because it's more work. Now, when you get a permit, the inspector will come inside of the house. How are you going to hide that? It's impossible. They're going to see that's asbestos. And they're going to say, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, do you have an asbestos contract? And guess what, guys? It's very expensive to take that out. All right? Very expensive. So I would not do that. A couple of months ago, we went to a house of a friend of mine that he bought the house and he started the demo of the property. He was worried about the termites on the property, but he never thought the house has asbestos. And that's what stopped him from finishing the job. He bought the house for $80,000, sold for $30,000. That's how much money he lost.
Can you not touch the asbestos and just put laminate floors, whatever?
You can do it. You can do it, but one way or another, If you have to take the permit, the inspector will find out. You know? No, they will come and ask, before they give you the permit, they will come, they gotta inspect the house before you touch anything. Now, if you touch something, start the demo, and they're gonna try to give you a permit, when they come to the house and see that, you will in big trouble. Yep. Yep. So, just go by the process, guys. Don't try to cut corners because you guys are gonna suffer. I never did because I'm a contractor. I have the license to do it, but I have seen people that really lost money on that. Okay. So you can do all the rough. What time is it? Are we all good on time?
7:30.
All right. So rough work. So now let's talk about the cross space foundation. Cross space is when the foundation is a little higher. All right. On a cross space foundation, it's more work to do it. But please don't get too worried about doing cross space foundation. All right. Now the first one that you're gonna do, it might be a little more work than you expected, but when you get used to, it's easier. So probably on my properties, 80% of them are cross space foundation. And I do it because of many investors scared those houses. All right. So on cross space foundation, you're going to see a lot of rotten wood that needs to be changed. But please, if you see a bad wood, change the wood. Who's the worst enemy that anybody down this business can have? Huh? Water damage it is, but the inspector, the homeowner inspector. Homeowner inspector is your worst enemy. Why am I saying that? Because if you try to hide a bad floor or a rotten wood and they find out, it would cost you 10 times more to fix it up. Then after the floor is done, then you go before anybody and do the right thing. All right, so just do the right thing. If you see a sagging floor, make sure what it is. Check it out what it is. All right. Some people say, oh, the brick is cracking. It's a foundation problem. Yeah, but it's not the foundation footing. Maybe it's just the foundation joist or a beam or something. Something easy to do. Something easy but not cheap. Right? We're talking about the right thing to do. Sometimes it ain't cheap, but on the end of the day, it's less headache. But sometimes you don't. When you started to open walls, then you find out what's going on, right? And I mean, if you think you're gonna lose the money and do the right thing, it's less headache on the end of the day, all right? When they close, when the homeowner inspector come and inspect the house, and they see they have to find something on that property. They will find something on the property. If they don't find anything, it means that they are not doing their work. They will find it something. So I personally, I leave some stuff for them to find out. They don't look too much. And sometimes they don't find what I left them to find. That's the worst enemy. It's the homeowner inspector. Yes, sir.
Do you ever bring the home inspector on the beginning when you're about to purchase?
You can.
Do you do a to-do list?
Yes, sir. If you're not familiar with the process, I recommend you to bring your own inspector. Now, if you have, for example, a cross-space foundation, believe me, that the inspector will not go under the whole foundation. Why do you think that? It's dirty, might be snakes, spiders, you know what I mean? They might not do it. Now, you can send your termite guy over there to do the CL100. You can ask him, is any problem there that you recommend me to fix it? They will tell you. All right? So me personally, I put my Tyvek suit on and I crawl under that thing. You know why? Because it's my money. And nobody taking care of my money like me. You know? If I see something wrong, I will fix it, I will put on my numbers. Now ladies, send your husband, don't do that. Alright, so I would do it. I would inspect everything. Sometimes I used to expect probably about 2-3 hours in one house just inspecting. But now, sometimes I don't even go on the property anymore. I just have the number in my mind and I throw the number there. You know? So, rough work can be done at the same time. The flooring, the walls. I mean, the walls, if you have some walls that needs to be made or needs to be demoed to give more space. When I see these houses, the houses that have one side have the kitchen, the other side have living room, I usually take the wall in the middle out, so it can be one open space. Everybody loves their open space these days. Now, if I'm gonna take the space of cabinets, I would not do the whole wall. I just do a partial, right? Minimum 6 feet. You know, that's me again. That's me. So you can do that on the rough work. You can do the flooring, the walls, the beams. Beams. Be careful with that. Beams. It's when you remove a wall, you need to find out if you have a low bearing wall or non-low bearing wall. Low bearing wall is the ones that carry the weight of the roof. Non-low bearing walls doesn't carry anything. All right. So, like I mentioned, if I have a house, kitchen is on one side, living room on the other side, it's a 90% sure that the wall in the middle is a low bearing wall. So you need to put a beam over there to carry the weight of that wall that you're removing. Again, you need to know, you need to find somebody that knows how to do the job. Because I have seen people removing that wall without knocking on it. I have seen it. Right? And the porches. I will do the porch at the same time that you do it, the rough work. Why I say that? Because the same framer that doing the inside walls and flooring, they do the porch too. So I'll do everything at once. Alright? Any questions so far? Alright, good. So after the rough work, come over here. Rough mechanicals. Mechanicals is electrical, HVAC, and electric and plumbing. That's the mechanicals. So all of them can come in one time and do everything. So usually what I do is this, guys. 2 days I spend over here, a week or 2 weeks over there, another week right there, another week, you know, and so and like that go. Yes, ma'am. The rough mechanicals or the plumbing. Any plumbing on a property that needs to be done on the walls, inside of the walls, not outside of the walls, inside of the walls. All the electrical that needs to be done, maybe you removing a wall from here to there, and the wire is hanging, you need to get rid of that wire, that's part of the rough, you know, electrical. Or the HVAC is bad, you need to replace both units. That's the time that you go in and do it too. Alright?
Water heater too?
I'm sorry?
Water heater?
Water heater? If the water heater is bad or it's leaking, I'll take it out on my demolition. That's where I take it out. Alright? Now, sometimes on the old house, you're going to see 3 or 4 kind of pipes on the water heater, especially on the water heater. You see a PEX, you see a copper, and you see a poly, right? So 3 kind of pipes in there. Sometimes I see the 4th one, the PVC, right? So for better of me, I would change from the main pipe all the way up for a PEX. I would change everything on the hot water heater, not the house, the hot water heater only. Now, sometimes you find a property that they have a poly on the piping, and you say, "Oh, poly is a bad pipe. I'm going to replace it." I would not replace it, you know, unless I'm going to live on the property. If no leak if you don't see no leak over there, I would not replace that. All right. So mechanicals. So after you do the mechanicals. That's becoming the fun part, insulation. You do the insulation. Some of the old houses does not have insulation across space foundation. You need to put it. Why you don't put? You can say, oh, but I bought without it. Yes, but when the homeowner inspector comes to see, they will flag it out. They will ask you to do it, and every single one will do that. So I do it at the first time. You know, I already know what they're gonna ask anyway, so that would cost you probably about $700-800 depending on the property. So I would go ahead and do the insulation underneath of the cross space foundation. Yes, ma'am.
Is it spray foam or is it the other stuff?
Spray foam, never done. Too expensive. I usually do the insulation stuff, the fiberglass insulation. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you got a question?
Oh, you already repeated the insulation under the crawl space, just do it because you already know the inspectors.
Yes, yes, exactly. They're gonna ask you anyway, so I do it the first time. All right.
Thank you.
Drywall and plastering and doors and trim. So all that I will do at the same time. You do the insulation first, then the drywall, then the plastering, then the doors and trim. Yes, sir.
When you're doing the insulation under the house, you deal with moisture barriers or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, one time that you go under, you do every single work that you have to do it, so you don't have to come back. All right.
You usually do that? You usually put down flat centers?
Yes, so I do it when I'm sorry. So when I do the rough work right there, after I do the flooring, if I have to do it in the flooring, I go ahead and put the vapor barrier. After the frame is finished the flooring. Because if you do it before, guess what is going to happen? They're going to walk and they're going to damage the vapor barrier. So before they put the plywood, the subflooring, I make sure that they clean everything, because if you don't make sure, they will not. I make sure that they clean everything before they put it in the subflooring. All right. So as soon as they finish with the subflooring, then the vapor barrier is gone. You know, after the vapor barrier, then the insulation, now the old cross space, the old houses, you're gonna see a lot of unused wiring under the houses. That is a red flag for the homeowner inspector. Maybe Uncle Bob want to try to put something on the cross space and left the wire hanging there. You know, I would remove that wire. Take advantage that you don't have a subflooring in there. You don't have no flooring there, and remove everything that you have to remove. You know, so usually I myself go under the house as the frame is off, doing some work, and I inspect if I need to remove any wire. I always removing the old phone wire. Always. I always remove those. I always remove a cable wire. Why? Because that thing looks horrible. And I have the inspector tell me to remove that because that was dangerous. You know, so I always remove those. So again, guys, you spend a week over here on rough mechanicals, then you spend probably week or two doing the installation, the drywall, the plastering, and the doors and trim. I think I make a mistake over here. This should be on the top, because after the rough work, it should go on the roof. If you need to change the roof, after you do the rough work, why I say after you do the rough work? Because maybe you need to do some work on the porch, maybe change some roof decking or something on the roof, or fix one of the trusses. Then you go ahead and change the roof. I'm sorry, after you finish this, come down here and then go down there. All right, so the roof wings inside needs to do before the mechanicals, okay? So roof windows inside needs to be done before the mechanicals. All right? After that, come in the box in the middle, which is insulation, drywall, and plastering, and a door trim. And after you finish the drywall and the trim, then you start the painting. All right, everybody say that it's easy to paint. Oh, I can't paint. Unless you're a really professional painter, don't paint your house. You know, please. I mean, I have seen all kind of paint. Listen, guys, listen. You know, don't do it. Listen, one thing that I hate to do is painting. I hate to do painting. I will pay anybody to paint it for me, but I'm not a really detailing guy. Listen, it ain't me. I won't do no painting. All right. So what I mean about rough paint? Rough painting is the main paint. That's the time that you after you do it, you drywall and you trim. You come and spray everything, right? You spray everything because you need to put in your primer first. All right. Always do it 2 layers of primer. I prefer to spend a little extra money on the prime, then come back and buy extra paint. So you can go to Home Depot, which I prefer than Lowe's, because I already know where is everything. Lowe's, they change all the time. So Home Depot already know where is everything. So Home Depot, the bucket of the prime costs $40. All right, and it's everybody's price, not my price. So I prime the whole house, then I put the first layer of paint and the second layer of paint. I always do it 2 primes and two paint.
Why?
Because I want my walls to be great for real. Because if you do one layer of a paint, if after you put the lighting, you can see at night, you can see the part of white and the grayish. So each time that the painter come on your house to paint, they will charge you. So I make sure they come in and do the majority of the stuff at the first time. So my painters come on my property twice. The first time is that, after I've done the drywall and the trim, and then before the cleaning. That's how I do it. All right. Listen, if you ask your paint to come in 5, 6 times, they will come, but they will charge you. They will charge you. Each time that they come on that driveway, they will charge you. So you better come and you better to do everything at once, so you don't have to bring them back. All right.
So they like start the first layer at one end of the house, go all the way over, and then start with the next layer, go all the way over.
Yes,
in
yes,
one visit.
yeah. Now, if you have a smoker, if you have bought a house that the previous owners used to smoke, you better to buy a good primer for that. You know, because if not, you're gonna smell smoke after you paint the house.
What kind of primer do you use for that?
Huh?
What's your favorite primer to cover up smoke?
Home Depot has a primer that it's water-based paint primer, but they say it's hard surface or something. I don't remember. Now Kills is good, but Kills is good, but Kills I would use the water-based one.
What color is the can?
Huh?
What color is the can come in?
White and red. Yes, ma'am.
I know an investor who uses Kills for everything, and she said if you put a whole bottle of vanilla extract into the bucket, then the smell will go away and the it is.
I never tried that. I never did try that. Might work, but I never tried it.
I have a question about the cabinets.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you typically rehab the cabinet, or do you just take them all out and replace them? 'Cause they're
I'll be
so
there.
expensive.
I'll be there. Listen, one time I bought what I call the stinky house. The stinky house I bought real cheap. Was a good deal, but on the end of the day, I ended up losing 40 grand. All right? But that was my fault. It was my fault because you don't know what you do until you find out that you don't know. Right? So, yeah, it was my fault. Yes, ma'am.
So because of that stinky experience, what have you found that when you walk in?
So in that stinky house, when I bought it, the lady was living over there with 5 cats and 4 dogs. She never takes the dogs or cats outside to pee or poop. Everything, all of them were doing inside. All right? It was so bad that the guys that came work with me worked 2 hours only. Right? So we went and put the keels on the floor. we treat the floor, we treat the walls. I put some kind of perfume on a paint. That thing is still smelling bad. Yes, sir.
We went to the farm supply and bought.
We went, listen, I haven't tried everything. The only thing that killed, it's a machine that called ozone machine. Ozone machine. Man, I would save so much money if I did that. Yes, sir.
I was just gonna say, there's one more note for everybody, that Sherwood does make 4 cents that you can add to things, and it works for up to a year. It's like citrus, white, clean linen, vanilla, and something else.
Oh, okay.
So it does work. We've used it in our offices.
I think I tried that. But the thing is, on that house, the smell was so intensive.
Yeah, they never put too much in.
Listen, I mean, you could smell, listen, you could smell the paint. You could smell the paint. Put that again. You could smell the paint if you get close to the wall. But if you came out 4 feet, you could smell the paint. That's how bad it was. You know, and I put all my flooring, nice hardwood floor, and that thing still smelling bad. I mean, but then I had to hire this company. They came and left that machine on the property for 2 days. And when I came back, I get in a property like that. But thank God that the smell went away.
So it's an ozone?
Ozone machine. I think it was a Clean Master, a Clean something, Master something was the one that I
I
hired.
think it's now Ozium.
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah. Y'all English is hard. Smells, yeah, I mean, but with a nice, if it is just smoke with a good primer, that will control, okay? So a good primer would cost over $100, guys. I'm sorry. If it is smoke inside of the house, a good primer would cost about $100. All right. So 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of a paint. Now, if the house is not too bad, all right, with 1 prime and the 2 paint would do the work. If it's not too bad, all right. Everybody understand me? Everybody's good? Can I keep going?
Yes.
All right, rough paint. Now we come to the cabinets. To answer the lady's question, I always change my cabinets. Always do. A couple years ago, I went and I want to save a little bit of money in a property hand I had. Cabinets look beautiful. Nice cabinet. But after paint, finished paint, and when I compare, it was almost the same price. Really. They paid us, charged me $4,000 to paint the cabinet, and $4,500 I'll buy a brand new. So I will always change. You know, I always change. Now, if it's a cheap house, I put a cheap cabinet. Any house that if the particular house that my normal houses cost between $3,500 and $4,000 if it is a normal cabinet, like a brown, dark brown cabinet. But if it is white, always costs a little bit more. If it is white cabinet, all right. But to answer your question, I always change. You know, remember, I want to keep the wow factor in the buyer. When they come in, I want them to see new flooring, new light fixture, new cabinets, new countertops, granite. You know, and walk around the house and I see, oh, nice, new carpet, new this, new that. You know what I mean? Like that, I can fight on my price. If they say, oh, I need a $6,000 in closing costs, thank you very much. My house is not yours. Go find something else. Nice, but that's my way to fight on my price. All right. Countertops. I always use the same countertops on every single house. I always use the same cabinet color in every single house. All right. Now, if it's a very expensive house, I always put white and use the same granny county dollar. All right. I buy my granny for $30 square feet. $30 square feet. County dollar light feature. I always change every single light feature on the house. And I always put the same light fixture on every single house. You know? When you guys do the first one, it will be fun to go to Home Depot and get light fixture. Now when you guys going to do your number 20, say, oh Lord have mercy. Everybody on Home Depot, hey, what's up, man? Hey, how you doing? I know everybody by name. You know, but it's not fun. I mean, you could use your time with something else. So what I do, I put everything online, and I just do one click. Everything comes from my house, but I take it to the job site. So it's my time, you know. But if you, I learned that ladies will have something they call shopping distress. I'm sorry. Yeah, they love to shop, so they stress go away. So if you're those kind of person, what is it? Shopping therapy, something like that. Yeah, something like that. So you know, I mean, I go to Home Depot because I need it. I don't go over there to have fun. Like, you like to go and see, wow, this looks wow. I mean, I'm going there because I know what I'm going to buy and I'm get out. So, you know, so I don't really spend too much time. I always buy the same light fixtures. You know, on the properties over 200,000, I always put a ceiling fan in every single room. Below 200,000, I always put it only on the living room. That's it. Not on the bedrooms. All right. So I always buy the same ceiling fan. So it's funny. Stanley, the guy that I'm teaching, he goes to Home Depot and says, "Listen, man, what you want to buy? I find this one." And I say, "How much cost?" And he say, for example, 85,000, 65 cents. Man, ain't that one. That's one right there that costs this much money. And he always buys it. So how you know? Well, I have been going there many times. And sometimes they change the price for me by mistake, and I always go on the manager and say, "Listen, man, this this right here, this one costs this much." And they always change it to me because, you know. But I always put it, you gotta simplify it, guys. You have to simplify the process as much as you can. Because when you have a 7 house or 2 or 3 houses going at the same time, I mean, for you to go to Home Depot every an hour because you need something, it's hard. One is, yes, sir.
The other thing is, some people go to Habitat for Humanity and try to piecemeal things together. It's like you can occasionally find things, but once again, it's...
It ain't worth it. Me personally...
Spend 8 hours and then save 100.
Yeah, no, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Please don't buy nothing from Habitat for Humanity for a property that you're gonna flip, guys. Please don't do it. I mean, it's a waste of your time. I mean, if you have a rental, I used to buy a lot for my rentals, but if you're gonna flip a property or if you're gonna resell some way, somehow, don't buy anything from Habitat for Humanity. All right, please don't listen. I try, but it's a waste of time. All right. So light fixtures. Now is the time that you come in and change the outlets from the walls. After you're done, you paint it. Why you change it? Because the painted their outlet. So you need to change that. So I always change every single light switch and outlet for the entire house, including the exterior ones, including the stove ones. I always change, always. The outlet, the big outlet, the 220 amp outlet behind the stove, I always change that too. All right? Any question?
How about your floor vents?
I'm sorry?
Floor vents.
Floor, I always change my floor vents. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You replace them with little 90-cent outlet, or do you go with GFCIs and all your own?
Now GFIs, I will go where I need it. All right, GFIs, I only go where I need it. Now, some of the old houses, they have a main GFI on the breaker box. Some of them doesn't have it all. So some of them on the countertop, you're gonna see like a 2, 3, 4 GFIs. Sometimes you need to change every single one for GFIs. But if you find they start on this corner and go all around, you just need to change the one on the corner. You know? Yeah. Oh, okay. So on the exterior outlets, always GFIs. Waterproof costs about $25. Waterproof. Don't put any GFIs outside. They will make you change. All right. Any question? All right.
Why do you change all the outlets, including like the stove one in there?
So the home buyer can see that we did something nice on the property. Yeah.
Make it look new.
It'll make it look new. All right. Now you maybe can try to clean, but how much cost a switch, guys? $1? No, less than $1. You can buy a whole box for $3.15 or for $3.15. So for 10 of it for $3.15.
Now, are you talking about the outlets or the covers?
The outlets
So it has
and the covers. I changed both.
like something that knows how to change it, right?
I'm sorry?
Someone that knows how to change it.
Yeah, someone that know how to change, exactly. Yes, ma'am.
GFIs, what does that mean?
GFIs it's the outlets that protect you from water. For example, the code say that any outlet closer to the water, less than 6 feet, needs to be GFI. So on a small kitchen, you have to change it, every single one. You know?
Doesn't that, it shuts off the power in case it gets wet, so no one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So does that have like a reset button?
Yes. Yeah, that's a GFI. Yes.
In my head, like, where is it?
The ones that have the two reset buttons?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the GFI. Now, sometimes you can find those properties that does not have a GFI on the bedrooms or on the bathrooms or on the kitchen, but they have one main GFI at the breaker. Now, sometimes that confuses the homeowner inspector. That they come to you and say, you need to put a GFIs on your bathrooms and in the kitchen, but they didn't pay attention on the main GFI on the breaker. Okay? Now, if the inspector really pain in the butt, they're gonna make it change anyways. Yeah, and unfortunately, you wanna sell their house, there's no way you fight. Because the homeowner is trusting that guy, so you have to make sure the homeowner it's okay. Alright? Any other question? Wow, really? Alright, let me fly, guys. I'm sorry. Conversation going too good. Alright, after that, you're going to exterior paint. Exterior paint. So change every single rotten wood that you have in there. Alright. Then you do exterior paint and landscaping. And the flooring. The flooring always comes after you do the rough paint. Alright. The flooring and the last paint. So doing your last paint, the last paint that I'm talking about is just the touch up. Alright? When the people is working and they mess up the walls, you have to bring again the painter and the drywall guy to do some touch up. That's where you bring it. You know, flooring, then appliances, hardware. I always change every single hardware on the property. Every single door, I change the hardwares. Alright? Front door, the hardware on the handle like that. How they call that? I don't even know. Finger, whatever. Look sexy. You know, so I always change it. You know? So I always change every single hardware, including the hinges. Including the hinges, okay? And after that, it's easy. It's cleaning, staging. If you like to stage, I don't like to stage my properties. I never stage my properties. Never. Photo and listing. Alright, any questions, guys? I'm sorry, I took too long on the other stuff. Yes, sir.
Alright, if someone were to go in and purchase a rehab property, say that they have like a buy and hold tell if you got one that was like done by a first-time flipper that maybe,
I'm sorry, repeat your question?
how can you tell a good rehab house from one that was kind of maybe, pieced together that you may walk into a nightmare later on?
Okay, the way that I see it, that when I get in a property, but now, it's because I haven't gone to many properties already. So when I get in a property, I see if the trim is even. It's one of the things. If the trim is not uneven, if the floor is even or uneven, you know. Sometimes I see that people make the porch as a part of the house, and you go up on the house. So I already know that somebody that doesn't know what they was doing was working there. If the flooring is sagging, you know, if two kind of floors on 2 or 3 kind of floors on the same area, on the living room, for example, you have a part that is linoleum and a part is tile and the part is wood floor. I already know that somebody that does not know what they're doing was working there, you know. So it's easy for you to get a poor workmanship. Let's put it this way. You walk around the house, you'll see if somebody did something that it doesn't look right, you know. And usually, when I am with the seller, if I have a sag on the floor, I really move so they can see that it's sagging, you know. And they say, oh, that's fixed, that's easy to fix. For them, not for me, you know. So it's easy to see. Poor workmanship is the main thing. Yes, ma'am.
No, I just said not for them either. It's not easy for them.
Well, I mean, they want to sell the property, you know, so they want to excuse it for majority of this stuff, right? Any other question, directly? That's good. That's good. All right, so this is the way that I do my house, guys. So if you took a picture, clean it up, put on your walls, and remember to change that, all right? Change that, put that on the top, okay? That's what I use in every single property. Yes, ma'am.
It's very good that you all tell, it seems like you do a good quality. You've been doing a lot, you know, flipping. How much do you think the percentage, you know, from the price that you got for the price that you profit? Do you have any standard numbers?
On my property, I always hit my